Alrighty folks, welcome back to Keth Plays Torchlight 2. Wanted to make something a little clearer. After watching my last video, it occurred to me that I said I'm going to be comparing to this to Diablo 3, and there's a little bit more of a reason other than these games are similar. The guys from Blizzard North, or well, a couple of guys from Blizzard North, actually split off after creating Diablo 2 and its expansion to create Runic Games, which put out the original Torchlight, and now Torchlight 2. So that's another reason that I'm going to be comparing this to the Diablo series quite a bit. Also wanted to mention, after watching my last video, that, well, we're going to discuss some things, and some builds, and some stuff, and we're going to get a little bit more in-depth in what we're talking about. So be ready for me to explain, builds and some things, and move on from there. So as you can see, that frostbolt skill that I got is kind of nifty. Decided to go with the frostbolt on this guy. And you gotta love the pet. The pet helps you out quite a bit. Not only does he sell things for you, but he fights for you, and does quite a bit of damage too. Definitely useful to have. So, and there's a lot of side quests in this game. As you can see, there's a guy over there that wants to talk to us. That's going to be a little bit of a side quest. Look at those. They ricochet. It's awesome. And they slow people down and freeze them in place and all that. So let's see. My duty to tend the honored dead with their angry and risen from the tomb. The tranquil censer should calm them down. Okay, so we need to find the tranquil censer. And we'll get that off a mob here sooner or later. One thing I'm noticing with this frost build is it eats up a little bit more mana than the build I'm playing on my other Ember Mage. We're gonna have to keep that in mind. But looks like we're gonna be able to slow things down, and hopefully that'll be able to help our mana issue. Hey, there's the tranquil sensor and a lot of bad guys. So I think we're going to go with a staff on this guy as well, or a stave, just because it looks like we're going to run out of mana, and I'm going to want something that hits kind of hard to accent the fact that I'm not going to have the mana that I'm used to. So something to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and give this guy back his thing. He will give us a reward for polearm, and what's this? Collar. Let's get that, and let's go ahead and equip it. So, another thing I would like to mention is these gems that you get. I'm going to save this for a weapon since we only got one, but gems are a dime a dozen. You're going to get a ton of those. If you didn't notice it in my stash that I had a bunch of them stashed up, you end up getting a ton of those. So don't be afraid to spend those. We'll also have a vendor. Eventually, they can either destroy the item and get the gem back, or destroy the gem and keep the item. So if you make a mistake, it's not a huge deal, because you'll be able to get that back. Ooh, venom. Those do poison damage or add poison resist.
I don't have enough money.
You'll see these chests that are covered in that blue mist and the chains. Those require you to find some form of mob. In those cases, it was the ghost that popped up there before the chest becomes a mob. So if you see one of those, be prepared to fight something. Usually nothing huge, just a couple of ghosts, but good to know. Nonetheless, like if you're on low health or something, you go, oh, hey, look, a chest. Be prepared for a fight if you run into one of those. So, I'm kind of a bit of an explorer. Let's read this real quick. You must be the human the other Astharians are speaking of. Glad to have met you. Oh, by the way, you can get attacked while you're reading quests here. So, this guy just wants us to go into this little cave here and get spoiled. Since I jumped out so quick. But I am a bit of a side quest whore.
Your help.
So I will be doing a lot of exploring throughout this gameplay. When we get into some of the bigger areas, I will probably cut out me exploring and then just kind of leave you to see the quests, especially because this game is, you know, it creates random dungeons and all that stuff, so you're not going to have the exact same playthrough as I'm having. So we'll probably skip out me wandering around the desert and so on and so forth, just looking for stuff. But in the case of these first couple areas, they're a little bit more linear, a little bit smaller, and we should be able to show you the whole thing. The next area, I think, is where it's going to be opening up quite a bit. So, did look yesterday on the video, and I wanted to tell you, looked up, and Torchlight, the original, is $14.99 on Steam. I'm sure you can probably find it on like Good Old Gaming or one of these other websites for a little bit cheaper. I get most of my stuff on Steam. I'm a big Valve guy, so I like to support them.
You have become
So I don't have a problem paying a little bit extra and buying it on Steam. And Torchlight 2 is currently $19.99, or you can get a 4-pack for 60 bones. You know, if you got some friends you want to introduce to, this thing supports LAN, single player, you know, on your desktop, which was one of the issues I had with Diablo 3. I was like, why can't I play single player? Everything has to be multiplayer. Not a huge fan. So I did have a problem with that. A lot of people had a problem with that Diablo 3. And this game went ahead and remedied that problem. You don't have it. You can just play single player if you want. Or you can do LAN if you want. This game does support modding. But it also flags you as a cheater. Sorry about that, folks. Got a phone call from work in the middle that I have to take. But like I was saying, modding is available for this game, and there's also console commands. Using the console commands flags you as a cheater in multiplayer. So even though the game is moddable, there are going to be things that are going to flag you as a cheater. Once that stuff gets up and running, you know, if somebody makes a mod where it's like, here, 3 items, you're probably going to get flagged as a cheater. Which is kind of nice, you know, if you get into a multiplayer game. I play mostly with friends, so they're going to go ahead and tell me if they've been cheating. And frankly, I don't care. Once I beat the game, then I'm willing to cheat. But before then, I'm going to play the game completely on my own. No cheats, no mods, no nothing. And experience the game that has been given to me. After that, you know, all bets are off. I'm willing to cheat a little bit. I'm willing to download some mods. I'm willing mods. I'm willing to see what the world has to offer, so to speak. Thought that's worth mentioning. Some more skeletons here. And keep wandering around. You know, the great thing about these dungeons is they are pretty big. Can get kind of annoying if you're looking for a quick play type thing where you're like, oh, I'll sit down, I'll beat this next thing and move on. Yeah, probably not going to happen. A lot of the dungeons are kind of big. A lot of the outdoor areas before you get to the dungeons are quite large. So if you are going to sit down and play this game and you're thinking, oh, I'll just complete one quest and then move on, be prepared for that to take a little bit longer than you expect. You know, which is a good thing. I'm all about the quick play games, you know, especially on like an iPhone type thing. You know, I'm willing to use a game where I can sit down and play and just be like, oh yeah, well here's 5 minutes of cut the rope or whatever, you know, while I'm standing in line. But for my RPGs and stuff, I like to be able to plan a little bit ahead and sit down and put in a couple hours to the game. So, and you'll see I'm missing a couple items just because I'm trying to speed through the walkthrough, and 15 gold really isn't on the priority list. So you'll get a ton of gold by the time you're through to even the second act or third act. I think this is actually considered the second act. At any rate, yeah, you'll have a ton of gold. You'll be able to buy whatever you want. Plus, you're finding items, especially at these low levels. You're going to be upgrading left, right, and center. You're not going to be buying anything. So, all right, heading down to the next level. Oh yeah, I leveled up twice. How about that? Let's do that real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. I get 2, 2, 2. Boom. Okay. And skills. Let's put a little bit extra into my staff mastery and my icy blast. There we go. Moving on. Hello. Another nice thing that I like about these games is these guys with shields, you can actually break those shields down. And be able to hit them hard. There's that scroll we were looking for. So yeah, if you run into a guy with a shield, eventually that shield's going to break, even though he's blocking left and right and not taking a whole huge amount of damage. Skills in particular, I find, do a really good job of breaking shields. You can also get some items from your pet that will allow your pet to do some of that damage and break that shield for you. So
my inventory is full.
Oh, inventory's full. Well, guess what? We can go ahead and hit sort here. I'll give all my pet all the white items I'm not going to even bother looking at. And get them out of my inventory. And poison ring, fire ring. That one's got an empty. That one's got an empty. We'll get rid of that. Necklace. We'll equip that. Get rid of this one. Helm. It's got strength on it, but it's better than the one I got, so we'll give it that one. That one's got dexterity, but it's better than what I got. Ghastly. Look at that. Increases the amount of gold finds. Sold. And we'll get rid of that. That. I don't need that. I don't need crossbows. I don't need swords. I don't need guns. Boom. Send to town.
Pet has departed.
50 seconds, he'll be back and bring me the profits that I so want. But bear in mind, when you set your pet to town, he's not going to be there backing up. That's kind of a problem. Especially, I guess the Berserker, from what I'm told, he's got a lot of skills that actually buff his pet. So if you're playing that class and send your pet around, you might be in trouble. On some of these squishy classes like the Ember Mage, pet helps quite a bit. Especially if you use an item on him where he becomes kind of tanky. And you let him tank for you, and you send him off to town so that you don't have that tank. And that could become a serious issue.
Is back from town.
So, pet's back from town brings me 693 gold from the sale of the items. We're going to go ahead and take the portal to the surface. Use our skill points here. Or stats, and then we'll use our skill points here. Go ahead, another point in Icy Blast. Turn this quest in, choose a reward. And it's... what do we got? 7 ice damage. I like that. Let's get that for my pet. And we will give him this on top of the one that only gives me armor. And we'll let him sell that. Physical armor... Vitality, we'll take that, sell this. I've got some ghastly. That gives me focus, this doesn't, we'll sell that. And plus 2 damage conveys 10 physical damage. I like that, and it's got more damage overall. So we'll get rid of that one. Socket and items, we'll go ahead and throw these into my available sockets get a little bit more poison and ice resistance. And I think, after we smack this guy down, we will... Let's walk over here to the next area real quick, and then I think we're going to call it a day for this episode, at any rate.
State your business.
And move on to the temple steps. I believe there's a waypoint right inside here that we can use to take back to town. If not, we can go ahead and create a portal, and it'll take us right back to town, no problem. So, let's see here. I've noticed a little bit of a long load time on some of these. Could be my computer. I am running on everything on high, plus some fraps in and all that stuff, so. But, you know, not insanely long. You know, nothing, you know, a little bit of a complaint, but nothing huge. So, but at any rate, I think we will call it a day, my friends, and we will see you on the next episode.